What's going on, everybody? It's Ron Brown LMT, the people's fitness professional. As y'all already know, I say that fitness professional because that's exactly what I am. I've been doing that over 20 years plus massage therapy and group fitness. If you don't know, it's not a fluke. It's not fake. It's all real. I just don't teach on here. Fitness, that's coming soon. Later on down the road, a lot's going on with this platform. Anyway, I got the brother Sharif and Bay in the building today. Islam to the more. Yes, I have my fez on today. If you don't know, I've been a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America for over 20 years now. If you don't know, so I don't know. I haven't been putting that out there. I don't know because I feel like it's not important. What's important is the information that I bring to the viewers. And that's pretty much it. But we're gonna go into the intro, and then we're gonna break into time never was when a man was not. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. All that good stuff. Remember, we have super chat up there. Don't forget to tap that button. We're trying to build up, continuously build up, and make this platform a balance in the crazy world we're in right now. We're living in where, they depict our people as being savages. We want to give another light, a different perspective, New York's perspective. All right. So now, time never was when. Well, first of all, how you doing, brother Sharif?
I'm good, brother. How about yourself? I'm good.
I'm doing lovely. What I'm doing right now is I'm focusing a lot more on eating clean because, being that I'm a fitness professional, I think I can cheat sometimes.
Yes, sir.
And when I cheat bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I gotta clean that. I'm cleaning that up right now. So I'm eating cleaner and cleaner every day. We're gonna go. I already asked you how you're feeling today, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, you have the meeting of the masses, I think, coming up.
Yeah, this upcoming weekend, and this upcoming weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, gathering of the masters. Yes, sir.
Gathering of the masses. Yo, I want to say what's up to brother Rich. What's up, brother Rich out there? Brother Rich. Who else is out there in this space, in this media space with consciousness? Sidnetta, gotta say what's up to Sidnetta.
All right.
Gotta say what's up. Who else is out there? All the more I see more's out there. They're coming out with podcasts and got stuff going on. Shouts to everyone who are trying to do the good work. But right now we're talking about time never was when a man was not. I got that from chapter 1. Now,
yes, sir.
Chapter 1 in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. If you can see it. Okay, I got that out the first chapter. This chapter to me sets the whole entire Quran off the right way.
Brother, it does, bro. It does. It is that chapter 1 is a cosmology. It really is. Cosmology being an explanation of everything. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what it is. It's a cosmology. It's our cosmological platform. It is among other things, it's an initiation into the proper way to see reality.
All right.
That's what it is. It's an initiation because we've been taught wrong. We've been socialized wrong. You see what I'm saying? And that's why that's a big part of why we're in the condition we're in and why the world is in the condition that it's in. So chapter 1, like you said, you couldn't have said it better. It sets it off. It initiates you. It immerses you into a more accurate view of reality. An accurate view of reality.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, being that coming from the 5% nation, when I saw that, first of all, I came from the 5% nation, got into Moorish Science. Of course, like a lot of people, I wanted to get the white man told, I'm a Moor and you have no jurisdiction.
Right.
And then, I always give props to Clark Ill, brother Clark Ill, Grand Sheik Clark
D.
Ill.
Clark Ill, Grand Governor of the State of New York, Moorish Science of America Incorporated. Yes, sir. And
Now,
the Grand Sheik Temple 54 in the Bronx.
yes, sir. I always give credit to him because when I went in there, he knew what I was in there for. But then he said that's not what this is about. And he said, why don't you sit down and listen? And then when I started to look at the literature and I saw chapter 1, I then said, oh, wow, this is kind of like basically really tied and connected to 5% teachings. If you really understand the teachings.
Yes, if you really understand them. That's a fact, brother.
Right. So then that's when I said, okay, I want to learn more about this. And then that's what took me, down the rabbit hole, so to speak. So the creation of and fall of man. Time never was when man was not. When I say that more, what are you thinking?
Isn't it interesting that Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because as members of the Moorish Science, some of America, and the Moorish movement, we are literally students of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, right? So we're studying his state of mind. We're studying where his mind was. That's what we're really doing. That being said, isn't it interesting that one of the very first things he gives us as a point of study is the subject of time? Ain't that interesting? Why is time so important for us to know about? Right? Why is time so important? Later on in the chapter, he literally gives the complete anatomy of man, right? And properly contextualizes it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he says, man is not the body nor the soul. Man is spirit and part of Allah. There's a whole lot to unpack in that one sentence, or those two sentences.
A whole lot to unpack.
There's a whole lot to unpack. But as it relates to time, here we go. The first sentence we're given, time never was when man was not. There's a whole lot to unpack in that sentence. So that sentence.
Right.
Right? Time never was when man was not. That means what, people? Right off top, it means what? It means that man is beyond time. It means time came after man. How about that? And you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a lot there, even in that. What we're doing now with the statement is we're just following the bouncing ball. What are the direct implications of the statement? Time never was when man was not. That means man is beyond time. Well, if man is beyond time, that means man is eternal. That's what it means. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Man is eternal, but now it says the bodies and soul. I'm sorry, the bodies and souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yea, from the finite point of view, the time will come when they will be no more. Okay. So what we're talking about here as it relates to time and man's relation to time is that there's a part of man that's outside time. And there's two parts of man that are inside time. You see? So the reason why the study of time is so important, it's to know what part of you is beyond time and what parts of you are subject to time. You see? If you're beyond time, to oversimplify, just to cut to the chase, that means you're eternal. That means that part of you that's beyond time is permanent. Permanent meaning it has no beginning and it has no end. That's what true permanence means. Permanence in this sense is synonymous with eternal. All right. The bodies and souls are finite things. What do we mean by that? Oh, that they're subject to time. They have a beginning and they have an end. Therefore, they are temporary. See? They're temporary. The soul of man and the bodies of man are temporary. Later on in the Holy Quran and Moorish Science of America, we're taught that the higher self is human spirit, clothed with soul, made in the form of Allah. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the soul is clothing for the spirit, and the flesh is clothing for both. See?
I don't want you to lose your train of thought, right?
Go ahead.
Soul, right? I think we went over this on one podcast before.
Yes, sir.
But the soul, from the way I see it, from what I
Yes.
learned from traditional Chinese medicine,
Yes.
is within the organs. So
Okay.
could you now, with trying to stay on track with time never was when man was not, is there any way you could explain the soul from how you see it?
Sure. Now, from the Chinese medicine perspective, right? We were talking about the ling and then the po, right? The two parts of, you already know.
Yeah.
So it's talking about, in Chinese medicine, it's talking about, when we say the ling and then the po, right? One part of the soul, as from the Chinese medicine perspective, is the part that's corporeal, that's closer to the individual personality of that individual in this incarnation. And then another part is what survives, right? Is what is intact, comes into the world intact prenatal and survives post-mortem.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, pretty much said the same thing. But the key points is this: prenatal and post-mortem. Meaning the soul, right? The soul comes into this incarnation, into the flesh, intact. And then leaves the flesh intact. And that's a revelation to us because, again, we've been socialized into believing that we are flesh. And if it's not flesh, it's not real.
Right. So now when it comes to the soul, to break down like a actual description of what the soul actually is, can you describe that? Is it the chakras? Is it the energy? Is it?
Good question. So here we go. Let's start with Prophet Drew Ali's words. He says, the ethers of the soul plane are but the ethers of the plane of soul is but the ethers of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. And in this slower rhythm, the essences are manifest. Essences are manifest, right? So in this respect, let's go back to Chinese medicine, right? Or Chinese energetic cosmology. The energetic body is a component of the soul. The energetic body is a component of the soul. The energetic body is what gives rise to the physical body. It's what animates and motivates and nourishes the physical body. See? Right. Okay. But there's something even above that. So, for instance, thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing. These are functions of the soul. But I can observe my thoughts. So there's something even higher than thinking. You see? So thought, memory, reasoning, feeling, these are soul functions. Consciousness and attention is a spirit function. You see? So think about it.
Spirit function.
I can observe my thoughts. So what part of me is observing the soul function? It's higher than the soul. It's beyond the soul. Get it? There you go. You see? Now, and that falls also in line with Chinese medicine because, as you know, the yi leads the qi. The intent leads the energy.
Right.
You see that? And intent, I just want to say this for the audience. Intent is different from attention. Attention is observation. Intent is volition. Intent is analogous to the will.
Right.
See?
Right.
So intent is attention in motion.
Right. Now, I don't want to bounce all over the place. It's within the same subject. It's just a lot of things come to mind when you say this, right? So, you know, I know I'm pretty sure you've heard the five stages of consciousness: the conscious mind, unconscious mind. You got the magnetic conscious, super conscious,
Conscious,
and then the infinite conscious.
infinite conscious.
Right.
Yes.
Now, does it have anything to do with those intent,
Absolutely.
volition? Well,
Infinite conscious is a spirit function.
Bingo.
Yeah, infinite conscious is a spirit function because remember, anything outside of time is not bound by space or time. Allah doesn't travel anywhere. How can he travel somewhere when he's already there? That's what omnipotence means. Well, omnipotence implies omnipresence.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here it is. We say this, right? That Allah is almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. Why incomprehensible? Because how do we comprehend? We comprehend via our five senses. Our five senses are based on duality. Anything beyond duality, our five senses fall apart. So, but see, we shouldn't be dismayed by saying we can't comprehend Allah, because it doesn't mean we can't experience or we don't experience Allah. We do. We do. You understand? Mm-hmm. Just because we can't verbalize, we can't draw out a schematic, you see what I'm saying? Doesn't mean we can't experience and we don't experience Allah. We just can't say. We just can't. You get it? In other words, language falls apart. Even our own thinking falls apart because it's based on something that's couched in duality. And duality is inside time. See? Duality is inside time. Can I prove it? Sure. Because duality means what? Especially when it comes to thought. Subject and object. Two things. The thinker and the thing being thought about. Duality. See? You see what I'm saying? So, you know, this is a deep study because first and foremost, watch this, to even contemplate the statement, time never was when man was not, to even contemplate the statement, you have to project a portion of your consciousness outside of time. See?
That's why I always bring up. That's why I always bring up the fact that the prophet says we what do you say about all divine prophets? We honor all divine
we
prophets.
honor all divine prophets, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, etc.
Right. Now, I think that it's interesting that he says Buddha and Confucius, when Buddha and Confucius is dealt in meditation and such.
Absolutely. We're not okay. So we're even talked about, you know, in our whole in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it talks about how we are empowered with the powers of meditation. You see what I'm saying? And so we need to make use of it. Also, too, we're taught that reflection is the business of man. A sense of his state is his first duty. That requires what? Contemplation, meditation. In other words, going inward. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Knowing, that's the first instruction we're given. Know thyself and Allah. Because when you know one, you know the other. See? Mm-hmm. When you know one, you know the other. This thing, I mean, this is a very, very, very deep study. And it's not, in my personal opinion, this study is not dealt with anywhere near the level it needs to be.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
so
it's not.
Now, I mean, there's so many references to these types of teachings all over, and I think that we tend to miss it, you know, when we try to separate as opposed to like bringing all the pieces to the puzzle together, meaning Christianity, their
Yes.
teachings, Judaism,
Yes.
Islam,
Yes.
um, 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 and even the 5% teachings,
Right.
because what's the said birth record of the Nation of Islam? That degree there,
Islam has no set birth record. It's right. Has no beginning or end. It's older than
and
the sun, moon, and
Sun, Moon,
star.
and Stars.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's all there for
It's
us,
there. Exactly.
and we skip past it for whatever reason. I don't know. Which is
I want to touch on why we skip past it. It's because of the law of inertia, people. An object at rest tends to stay at rest unless acted upon by a superior force. That goes with psychology as well. We've been conditioned and socialized to think a particular way. These teachings challenge our way of thinking. See that?
right.
They challenge. See, so what ends up happening, brother, is that when we read these words, we still have the wrong state of mind when reading the words. So we have to immerse ourselves in the process. Reading and studying, this is a process to change our stream of thinking, to change our narrative of thought. It's not just something you peruse and read the word and say, oh, those sound cool. No, you have to do exactly what we're doing right now. What does it mean to say time never was and man was not? What does that really mean? That means man is outside of time. Spirit, man. You see what I'm saying? What does that mean? Just to even start to think about that, you start to, the strobe lights start to pop in your head because it forces you to do what? Exercise your five senses. It forces you to stretch your perception. That's exercise. It's exercise.
It's also the way spirit, the word spirit is presented.
Yes.
In the religious institutions, if you will.
Yes.
That's the issue, right? Mm-hmm. So I like the pastors or the priest or whoever we grew up watching didn't necessarily know their own themselves in depth as the way they should.
Right.
And that left us, a nasty taste, if you will.
And also too, brother, I'm not gonna even say that all of them didn't know. Many of them didn't. Some of them did, but this teaching, what we're talking about now, at least from the religious and esoteric circles, is still secret.
Right.
It's still secret stuff. You see what I'm saying? Now, what's happened with some of the latest discoveries in quantum mechanics and quantum physics, now we have another set of language terms that we can speak to outside of religious doctrine that say the same thing. So we say omnipotence, when we say outside of time, outside of duality, when we say that, we could easily go over to the quantum mechanics side and say spooky action at a distance, quantum entanglement. What's the connection between the two? Time and space are of no consequence with either one. That's it. See? Time and space are of no consequence in the quantum field, in the quantum world. In what's called a Meissner field, for instance, in quantum mechanics. Anything in a Meissner field is quantum entangled with any other thing in a Meissner field, anywhere in the universe. In other words, in that field, there is no distance or time. Everything in that field is connected to every other thing in the field. See?
Now, I want to talk about the mind in the universe.
Yes.
Are they the same? Some would say the mind, you can't have a mind without the brain.
Some would say that. Some would say you can't have the mind without the brain. Some would say that the mind, is the result of brain. See, some would say that. Now, I would disagree, right? But I want to qualify the disagreement. Can the brain send out a signal, send out an energy, send out a spirit? Yes. But we're not using spirit in the same definition here. See that? The brain can send out a thought form. That would be the term. That would be the more accurate term. We would only call a thought form spirit because we can't necessarily physically see it. But that thought form is local. Spirit, in the broader sense, is non-local. Going back to what I said about quantum physics and in a Meissner field. It has non-locality. It's everywhere simultaneously. See? And that's a very difficult concept for us to wrap our head around because it's beyond duality. We need something for our brains to work. We need duality. We need something to contrast so we can measure. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Without duality, our senses fall apart. Okay? They fall apart, right? But there's the term called gnosis. Gnosis, like the Gnostics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gnosis means inner knowing. In that inner knowing, there is no point of reference.
Right.
Or there is no duality to compare it to. It's just boom, oh, I know. And then later what happens is that you see there's outside manifestations that verify the inner knowing. See that? That's gnosis.
So
Okay.
would you say the brain is a manifestation of the mind?
Absolutely. Just like the seven the seven ductless glands of the endocrine system are the physical product. This is, we said it before. What came first? The soul body or the physical body? We already know. Soul body came first before the physical body. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the seven ductless glands of the endocrine system are a physical 3D shadow of what the Hindus call the seven chakras. See?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, we've been taught to think inside out. That the flesh is real and the flesh is the only reality, or the main reality, and everything else is make-believe, or if it's immaterial, it's not real, when it's just the opposite. Anything that's permanent is unreal. I'm sorry, let me back up. Anything that's temporary is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that's permanent is real. Real meaning eternal, no beginning, no ending. See that?
Right.
Yeah. Anything that's temporary is finite. Has a beginning, has an end. There was a time when it wasn't here. There'll be a time when it's not here.
Right.
There you go.
Right. So being at the mind, let's say the mind and the universe,
Yes.
would you say it's one and the same?
I would say that some schools of thought say the universe is mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Some schools of thought would say that. Yes. I would say at this point in my own personal development that there's a synonymous relationship. There's a relationship between mind and universe, that they're connected, inextricably connected. I would say that. Yeah, I would say that.
Now, would you say
in other words, the universe is conscious.
Right.
See? Yeah. The universe is conscious.
It has an intelligence. Yep.
Yes. See? Absolutely. Now, to the whole thing about brain and mind, brain and consciousness, and I've given this analogy before. Sperm cells have consciousness, but they have no brain.
Mm.
They know exactly what they're doing, but they don't think. See? And we know the sperm cell in a microcosmic sense is what? It's that germ of life sitting in triple darkness, isn't it? From the microcosmic perspective.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Now, can I interject?
Please.
Okay. So now the mind and the universe, you said, are pretty much synonymous. They have a relationship.
Yes.
Would you say that okay, in the eighth degree, in
yes.
the
Yep.
1 to 14 talks about all the above is caused by the Son of Man.
All of the above. Right.
Okay. Now, would you say that our minds, our will power,
Yes.
our intent
Yes.
could actually control things within the atmosphere?
Listen, the double slit experiment from way back in the 40s in Western physics.
Oh, pardon me. I said the 1 to 14, the 1 to 40.
1 to 40.
1 to
Right.
40.
Exactly.
1 to 40. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, but the double slit experiment in quantum in physics answers that question. That's a resounding yes. Human observation of a thing changes the thing observed. That's well noted in science in the West. Yes, that's a well noted fact that just observation changes the thing observed. That means human consciousness plays a direct role in the outside reality.
As above, so below.
In a particular order, they say it this way: the outside reality is nothing but the continuing unfolding of human perception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I got some questions here. Is that because of one's own perception?
Yes. Yes. And that's a direct, just simple yes. Right? But the implications are staggering, aren't they? The implications are staggering, so staggering that most human beings today don't want that level of responsibility, do they?
Right. Now, I want to go to these two questions. This right here.
Yes.
Instinct versus thought. I think that's he already explained that.
Well, I want to touch on it really quick.
Okay.
I wouldn't use the word instinct. Right? I wouldn't use the word instinct. Instinct implies a lack of volition. That makes us like the lower animals.
Right.
See? I would use the word intuition. Intuition is a purely human function. And remember, intuition is right brain function. Right brain is connected to the universe. It already knows everything. Left brain forms and houses our filtering system for 3 dimensions. Our left brain houses our worldview. And our worldview, peace to Brother Mikey.
Peace.
Yes, sir. But our worldview is largely influenced by what? Our personal traumas in the outside world. So we have a body of pre-programmed responses based on prior trauma. We call that the body of desires. So we have a whole bunch of pre-programmed responses to outside stimuli. And that further shapes our worldview. So what do I mean by that? Like I said, right brain knows everything. It's connected to the universe. Left brain makes the decisions on what it lets in from right brain. This is why chapter 1 is so important. This is why secret orders begin with a cosmology. They begin, you have an experience, and then they give you a lecture to reshape your worldview, your left brain, to allow more from the right brain to come in.
All right, let's put this one up here. I'm not a person. I'm not into Akashic records, but hey, maybe I just don't know. I'm not saying I know everything, so
Yeah.
I'm
We
open.
also contribute to the collective unconscious. I don't know if I would call the Akashic records a collective unconscious. Would I call it a collective record? Oh, absolutely. You know, the recording or the reflecting ether, nothing escapes that.
Okay,
Why?
Akashic
But
records. Can you
but
explain
but
Akashic
this
records?
is but think about it. Think about it. Remember, you already dealt with this, brother Ron, when we talked about the relationship to the universe and mind.
Mhm.
Mind never does forget, and the universe is conscious.
See that? I can
So all you need is methodology to access. You just have to have the methodology.
Mhm.
That's all. You just have to have the methodology. Now, methodology, again, there's a methodology to shooting a basketball, but not everybody's a basketball star just because they can shoot a basket, just because they know the technique. You need skill, and skill takes practice. You have to develop yourself. It's not just add water. It's not microwave, you know, occultism or microwave esotericism or microwave metaphysics. Don't work that way. You got to put work in. You have to develop those faculties. See, a lot of times, and brother Mikey can co-sign this on me. A lot of times when people will publicly say, "I got it from the Akashic records," like Levi Dowling said in court about the Aquarian Gospel. Oh, it came from the Akashic record by way of human beings that had already done the work. He was just a part of their particular order. See,
The Akashic records also deals with Ifa.
yes,
You
it
know,
does.
one is the records that determines your fate.
Yes.
Divinely, through divine intervention that keeps a record, as you said earlier, of everything that's recorded.
And as you said, brother Mikey and brother Ron, you'll like this. What is Ifa? Ifa is mathematics.
Zero and ones.
That's what it's, the binary code. That's right.
Numerology, and it adds up to, in their culture, in Santeria Ifa, what they say your Urdu goes down to it goes down to lettering and everything else. And
there you go.
So
and what did we say in another school of thought? After learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can prove it in no limited time. See, that teacher called Islam. He called it mathematical theology. Prophet Drew Ali called it the impregnable doctrine. The only way you can win the argument is if you agree with me. See.
Now I want to ask, how do we? Okay, Akashic records. You just broke that down. That was peace. Now I like that one. I like that one. What happens is it's like I may have to change my thoughts on this, because like when you hear about the Akashic records, you see visuals, right?
People get spooky.
They get spooky, man. I can't do that, man.
They get spooky, right?
So how you just broke it down? All right, cool. That makes more sense now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, they try to make like these little spheres and colorful spheres, and you know.
Yeah. But now here's the thing with a lot of those visuals, and again, brother Mikey knows exactly where I'm going with this. Those visuals like that, where you say, "Oh, it shows this guy looking, and you see a sphere and da 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 da," right? They're giving a graphic representation of a personal experience, of a personal infinite experience. So what you're seeing is just an approximation. You have to have instruction on just to interpret the visual. Am I right, brother Mikey?
Exactly. It hasn't manifested yet.
Instructed on how to properly observe and interpret the graphic that you're looking at.
So symbology is all through symbols, because not all communication is all verbal.
There you go.
And it's as you mentioned, going into your middle pillar. Forgive me, people. I'm a little down because earlier I learned that a relative of mine passed away. So
yeah, brother. Yes.
Pardon me for not being as rambunctious, but yeah, it's all based on how you process it. Your middle pillar, how you connect to the universe. It's all about connecting to the universe, not thinking that man just came into fruition on his own.
Right.
You know, because you start in layman terms, you will question, you know, your mother came from a mother, father came from, you know, your father came from a mother.
Right.
And people will go into the question like, so who created God? When was God created? You can't predate that. That's man. The word God himself is man's understanding of trying to contain God into
and
one.
that's deep what you just said, brother. So we have going back to the whole thing about the study of time. Why that Prophet Drawley gave us that first. Is Brother Mikey's dealing with it right now. See, the problem with asking that question, which is actually a very powerful question, right? Well, if you came from a father and a mother, and they came from a father and a mother, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on, but you say you're a child of God, where did God come from? Right? So, you see, if what we've just done with the question is on the surface, we just relegated God to being a mere ideal of man that's also subject to time. See what we did? See what happens? So once again, now to contemplate deity, it forces you to think outside of time. And now your senses fall apart. Because I think duality.
Pardon me. I think people's concept of God is subjective.
Yes, right? Not just subjective, it's flawed. Again, we've been taught how to think wrong. We've been taught how to think wrong. We don't think properly. You see, you got people trying to contemplate God, and they think that they are their flesh. You jacked up already. See what I'm saying? You messed up already. You think you are flesh instead of being in flesh. See? Already messed up.
I think it's both one and the same, though.
Go ahead. I want to hear.
I see it as the flesh, you not being in the flesh. You said if you think that you are the flesh,
yes,
and you're basically what you're saying is your spirit man in the flesh.
Yes.
However, what's the difference between the flesh and its components and compounds, its atoms, etc.? What's the difference between that and its spirit? So
here's the answer,
right?
You ready?
It's all to me. It's all one and the same.
Question. Well, now speaking just from the energetic perspective, quantum physics once again solves that issue. All flesh is, anything material is solidified energy. It's literally tangible light.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Now, but we haven't a direct answer to your question. What's the difference between flesh, soul, and spirit? From the human perspective, man's consciousness went from non-locality to locality. That's called the fall of man.
Isn't it?
It's our perception that makes the difference.
It's just perception, right? But at the same time, it's the same one and the same.
But Brother Ron, perception is reality. Remember, the outside universe is nothing but your inside consciousness and perception unfolding.
Right.
Can I add to that too? And
yes,
also,
sir.
The flesh is finite. It's over with, because you're born into this world, and not being gloomy. You're born in this world to die. The moment you come into the physical flesh, your time is up.
Right.
It's limited on this earth. Right. But back to quantum physics,
as an individual, though. Like as an individual, if you're disconnected from all around you, that's how you would see it. However, when I die, I still live through my children.
Of course. Hold on. Let me add one more thing to that.
Children are individuals. Are you your child?
They're part
your
of
daughters have their own mind, don't they?
But it comes to show you. It comes to
they have my genetics.
It comes to show
okay, they have your genetics, bro.
Can I add one thing though?
But genetics are physical. Go ahead, brother Mikey.
Although, back to say the quantum physics and science itself, although the flesh is finite, right, and then begins to break down in compounds, then it produces maggots, and from there it produces flies. So life continues on. That's what they come to show you, that the concept of God that we have of being infinite continues on. Metamorphosis. So it comes to show you that we don't have we have an idea of God, but we can't put God in the container.
Right. We can't put him in a box. It's not a mere ideal of man. It's beyond that. Right. Now, that being said, Brother Ron, let's go with your thought real quick. Right. You survived through your children. Here's my question. Did your father survive through you?
I would say so.
So are you your father?
I would say I'm my father. I'm my father. I'm my grandfather. That's for sure. Okay. I'm both of them. I'm my father. I'm my grandfather. I'm my mother. I'm my grandparents. I'm all of them, right? Combined. Yeah.
All of them, right?
Yep.
You're all of them, aren't you?
I'm all of them.
What distinguishes you from them?
What distinguishes me from them is my id.
Explain that to the audience, because I'm not sure they understand.
My innate nature that exists before I came here. That has no beginning. That has no beginning or no ending.
But hold on. You said you were your father and your grandfather.
Yeah, I'm all of that.
Hold on. Do they have ids?
Oh, sure they do.
Oh, is there a conflict between yours and theirs?
No.
Is there a difference between yours and theirs?
Our ids? I would say yes. There is a difference.
What would make the difference if you are your father and you are your grandfather?
Because the difference is that I am a combination of my id and theirs, and they're a combination of their id and their forefathers.
How far does that go back?
That goes back all the way back and beyond. There's no beginning or no ending.
I would agree. But now we're right back to what makes Ron distinct from his dad.
What makes Ron distinct from my dad is that I already explained it. Plus,
well, there's two things I would say. One, the body you're in. You and he weren't in the same body. We already know that. Simple, right? You're not in the same body. Okay, that's one. Two, you have different experiences.
Right.
That is what shapes the id. You have different experiences in this incarnation. So it's like we three, we're in the same building, but Mikey's on the 10th floor. I'm on the first floor. Brother Ron is on the 5th floor. We're looking at the same side of the same building. We're looking out the windows, but we have three different views of the same thing. We're going to describe three different things, even though we're looking in the same direction, because our vantage points are different.
Right.
See what I'm saying? This is a powerful discussion, because what are we doing? We're really delving into the nature of man. Humanity is a singular collective.
Right. That's my whole point, right? Now, so what makes you and I, we're one.
So here is a secret teaching. Follow me. That I'm speaking out in the open. This is also it's taught all over the world in the ancient world, but it's definitely taught in ancient Egypt. Right? Man is a miniature universe. Man is a universe in microcosm, a microcosmic universe. The universe is a macrocosmic man.
The universe is the actual temple.
The universe is a macrocosmic man. You hear me? Yeah. So humanity is one singular thing, like my hand. But how many fingers do I have?
5.
Right. But if all you saw was just this, you don't see the hand, you see 5 individuals. Mm-hmm. When in actuality, it's one organism.
Exactly.
It's one thing.
Right.
But it's not, but brother, what makes us one is not our flesh.
I would say it's a part of it.
How?
If you think about what about what the prophet says? Mm-hmm. He says, what does he say about connecting to the ancestors, Allah, etc.?
What is the everlasting gospel? It is a saving power that comes from Allah through our ancient fathers.
How?
You know why? This is why, and I'm glad you brought that up. Why through our ancient fathers? Because man is Allah's representative inside Allah's creation. But since we're inside creation, what are we subject to? Time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's why, bro. That's why through our ancient fathers. See?
Okay. This sister just said, that's why we have telepathy, because of one mind.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Now it's just a matter of methodology and practice to recover the use of that function.
Now, how do we do that? Now, yeah, let's get to that, because I wanted to. There's so much in this first chapter, page number 4. I just want to read this off. Why did creative faith give to soul a body of flesh
to function on the plane of things made
manifest? Hear ye now, seraphim, and ye angels, ye men. Now, what is he doing when he's that's
an invocation, bro?
Right. Like if I was in a, let's say, Santero or Santeria spot,
a temple or a ritual circle or whatever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then so cherubim and seraphim.
Yep.
Cherubim and seraphim.
Yep.
Ye angels, ye men.
Mm-hmm.
Here now, old protoplast, earth, plant
and beast.
Okay. Now, cherubim and seraphim, ye angels. Now, if we talk about in certain circles, you can't talk about this stuff because it goes like this, right? And then they start talking about spookism or what have you, right?
Right.
Now, when we talk about these words, when we say these words have definitions to these words and perceptions that go with them. And depending on the school of thought, you can get spooky. But I know I'm here with the brother Sharif.
And I strive to not be spooky, bro.
And so we're dealing with
let's begin with this question. Mm-hmm. There's a term that's becoming more and more popular. The term is cryptids. Cryptids. CRYPIT or CRY. Hold on. CRYPTID. Cryptid. What is a cryptid?
Hold on, Reef. Before you go out there, Reef.
Sure.
That passage Ron read is basically saying man has, not to get spooky for people who don't understand you. You have dominion over these.
Come on, bro. That's right.
And the beasts of the land.
That's right.
Go, for those who follow their Bibles, when they say Adam, it's basically you have dominion over all these energies.
Again, like Brother Mikey just said, the Quran of Mecca, the Arabic Quran calls man, Allah calls man Khalifa. Khalifa means successor.
Now, real quick, cherubim and seraphim. Can you explain those two?
Okay, so back to what I was saying. Let's take the word cryptid, right? Here we go. Cryptid means, is a term given to animals, living things that aren't quite categorized as normal. So let's say Bigfoot would be a cryptid. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The Mothman would be a cryptid from West Virginia. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now these things are seen, and there's hundreds of years of observations and sightings, and so much so that even the biggest skeptic has to go, you don't know. So here's my question. Is it possible, because and it's a rhetorical question. Is it possible that there's animals or beings that we have not discovered yet?
Of course.
Of
Go
course.
to the Caribbean. Go to the
Ta-da! There
Go
you
into the
go.
ocean.
So we're talking about God's creations. We're one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We're the crown of his creation.
Mm-hmm.
But there's others.
The
You see what I'm saying?
The Alpha and Omega.
So can we rule out other intelligent thinking things? No. Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Okay. So we can't rule out the possibility, right? All right. So let's just start there. That at least has our minds open, but not spooked out. Right? Not spooked out. And so the late Lawrence Gardner, he was the historiographer royal for the Knights Templar Order. Not Knights Templar Freemasonry, the Knights Templar. These guys still have the genealogical records of Jesus, even, his wife, Mary, all that. Anyway, he, in one of his books, speaks about the etymology of the word cherub, where we get the word cherub or cherubim. Cherubim just means more than one, like Elohim, right? The Aramaic suffix H-I-M or I-M means more than one. Seraphim, more than one seraph. Cherubim, more than one cherub. You see what I'm saying?
Keep going, Reed. Go back to Tree of Life.
Cherub implies a vehicle that the seraphim ride in. Okay? The seraphim are described as fiery serpents in religious text. So it's talking about a particular type of being.
Can we give examples? Like we could say things like different plurals. Like I could say Adonai Haaretz.
Woo!
Aquas. Many more as far as Malashim and all that. It's all dealing with this. If you want to know more, study the 72 divine angels.
Yes. So now let's go back again. We were talking about man is not the body of the soul, man's spirit and part of Allah, right? Well, soul and spirit are beyond our senses, or at least our visual senses, to detect. Our visual senses only see the spectrum of electromagnetic energy between ultraviolet and infrared. Here's the question. What if we could expand our perception? What if we could raise our thoughts to infinite wisdom? What else would we see? See that? What if there was a methodology to expand our visual perception beyond infrared and ultraviolet? What else would we see? You see what I'm saying? Okay. So back to what you said, you mentioned before about how do we get there? How do we the first step in getting there is admitting that you are not just flesh.
Beautiful.
You have to first accept that you are greater than flesh. Because only then does the possibility open up for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. And and for those who do practice different spiritual systems, I could give you a basic exercises. You go from east, west, north, and south.
Yes.
Each of those four corners hold a typical angel that they deal with.
That's a fact.
East deal with Raphael, the west is Gabriel, north is Uriel, south is Michael. So you could do a certain song, certain praise, you do proper meditation, and you will see that from each of those points that give you the 72 number or 18 that you deal with, that deal with that particular.
So
element.
Real quick, brother Mikey just gave a jewel, but brother Ron, can you continue to read the invocation in chapter 1? I want brother Mikey to hear it.
Hear now, ye cherubim, seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. Yep. Hear now, O protoplasm in earth and plant and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of the earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders, ye lightning of the sky.
Keep going.
Hear now, ye spirits of fire, water, earth, and air. Right. Hear now, oh, everything that is, was, and evermore will be, for wisdom
Speaks
speaks
from
from
the
out
highest plane of spirit
spirit life.
life.
And I thought Noble Jurali, you know what, for y'all people out there, just, I don't know. If anybody be called Noble, you know what that name means.
You already know what it
He
is.
traveled.
Right.
You understand? No disrespect to the Moorish Science movement, because
Nah, not
as
at
they
all.
said, we are the not the Moors, but those who are in the craft are the custodians of it. And all due respect to Noble Jurali, shout out to Jacques Demolay, who studied from the Moors. If you know,
That's a fact.
the craft came from Egypt. And I'm gonna give a book recommendation for those who want to know more. This will open up your mind right here. Spiritual Masters Are the Healers from
That's right.
Mfidici will open that up for you.
That's
If
right.
you look into the meta nature, all this stuff is not new. You just gotta
Right.
open up your eyes, man.
And what we have to do, like we were talking about earlier, Brother Ron, you know, and I'm talking about students of Prophet Drew Ali, or those who say they're students of Prophet Drew Ali in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Yo, we sow and reap in a scanty way. We don't dig deep. What we're doing right now with chapter 1 is digging deep.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So when you hear spirits of fire, air, air, water, earth, right off top, you need to be thinking, oh, I need to study the elementals.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, we didn't even get past much.
I promise you we haven't.
And
That's right.
this has been an hour. But yeah.
Bro, when you came up with this topic, I said, oh, this is gonna be dope.
Now, Seraphim, cherubim, seraphim.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna probably be for the next one, because that
I'll leave everybody with this. As what I mentioned regarding the relation between cherubim and seraphim, right? In the book of Exodus, it describes when Moses is leading the children of Israel through the wilderness. Moses is following something. Who's leading Moses? God. But it describes God as speaking from inside a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night.
Real quick, I not to get spooky. Not to get spooky. I'm not getting spooky, yo. Really not, yo. But this morning, I was supposed to be up to go to work.
Yes.
I wasn't up. I was meditating. I was somewhere else. I don't know where I was.
Yep.
But something in me counted down 3, 2, 1, and I woke up like this. I'm telling you, I wasn't dreaming. Right. Whatever that is in myself, I need to become more in tune with that. That's why I'm saying, like,
it's a space, bro. It's a space. Meditation is not technically, it's not something you do, it's a place you go. You understand? That was your waking consciousness that had bled into the dream state slightly. That's why. So when you're sleeping,
but I wasn't asleep. I woke up.
I know.
I was up.
Right. Follow me. When you're sleeping, your subconscious is awake, doing its thing. Your waking consciousness is. When you wake up, they pass each other. At that point, they can communicate. Someone skilled in transcendental meditation can hold this space for extended periods of time.
Somebody want a book recommendation. I would say start with Franz Bardon.
Franz Bardon's work, yeah.
Israel Regardi is a good one. Even some of the Moorish stuff, but I'll start with Franz Bardon, Israel Regardi.
Yeah.
If you get your hands on this one book, but it's very deep and esoteric and grimoire, is Le Grand Petit Albert. I'll go to
it's not in English.
Yeah, you could, but I got the PDF.
That's
So
not in English.
You can
That's
start
in
with
Creole.
that. Yeah, Brother Reef and I, you talk about stuff like that.
Mhm.
Even believe it or not, even the metaneta will show you certain things.
Absolutely. Yes, metaneta is good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Absolutely.
Indeed. Well, check this out. We're gonna cut out everybody. However, we got to continue this next week. We're going Time Never Was next week. Time Never Was When Man Was Not next week. Let's just break down this chapter right here. It's just one chapter. One chapter.
Yeah, that chapter is something else right there. Chapter 1 is like woof.
Deep.
Yes.
Deep.
And it gives you, see, people have asked me, especially because I've made a lot of recent public appearances on some other channels, and it's introduced me to another audience, and it's the metaphysical audience, right? Cool. But I get asked, how are you part of a religious organization, but you know all of that stuff? I say, because it's my religious organization that points me in those directions.
Indeed. Well, thank y'all for coming out this evening. Another episode, NYP. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Yes. Of course, next week we're back on Sharif and Nil Bay Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Time Never Was When Man Was Not. And peace.